Hello, welcome to The Beef. I'm Daniel Backhouse. Well, they've done it. The Australian Greens have once again made it into the news headlines with, well, nothing. Greens Party leader Senator Christine Milne has stepped down from her position as parliamentary leader, leaving behind this legacy of tough love, environmental sensibility, and of course, sound public policy. Wait, they did none of that. Shit. Oh, wait, I found something. Oh, no, wait. Just joking, the carbon tax got abolished. Senator Richard Di Natale has been appointed the leadership position, and this is the first time that the leadership has been occupied by someone who wasn't born or lives in Tasmania, leaving Tasmania worried about its relevance in federal politics.
All I'm saying is,
Senator Di Natale has made a big plan for the Green Party by announcing his industry-changing approach to health.
It became pretty clear to me that if you want to improve people's health, you've got to start looking at the things that make people sick.
You'd think they'd pick somebody with a less monotonous voice. Whatever. Now we have our correspondent Nichi Hodgson with power, image, politics, and that stunning Louis Vuitton belt.
If you've ever been tempted by an imitation designer bag, you'll surely have some sympathy for Police Minister Joanne Miller, who was caught with a fake Louis Vuitton belt this week and thus accused of supporting organised crime. Or maybe you won't. After all, you'd think the Police Minister would be smart enough to balance her budget sheet to ensure only real designer goods, much like non-stolen jewellery, comprised her very public wardrobe. But why did we even notice Miller's counterfeit belt in the first place? And what does it say about our obsession with female politicians' bodies? Well, mainly that we just can't help ourselves analysing them ahead of their policies. Even when there's nothing particularly of note to scrutinise. Oh my God, that woman has arms, legs and a smile for the camera. Deconstruct her! In the case of Miller, the fake belt is a real gift for the cannibals, an opportunity to critique her lack of style as well as her loose political morals. What's more, why only Miller? Surely half a dozen male politicians have faked it, a designer belt I mean, in their time. Well, that may be the case, but it's worth remembering that when it comes to looking, women are the objects of our collective gaze. Of course, it hasn't always been that way. Elizabethan England or even 19th century Botany Bay would surely have provided viewers with a greater number of males' clothes hangers. Still, historically speaking, it's women that have always shouldered the burden of morals through, on and under their garments. Which means that even if Joanne Miller is matched by a dozen male cohorts displaying knockoff belts, shoes, socks, jockstraps, etc., neither the fashion crime nor the moral crime is the same.
Well, who knew that Chris Daw was such a label whore? Now, once again, the Australian Indigenous community and supporters have broken through the stereotypes to educate everyday Australians about the forced closure of Indigenous communities. It's a shame that the major news providers in Australia didn't quite understand the key message being conveyed, but instead focused on the nightmare caused to commuters that occurred when well over 5,000 protesters took to the streets in Melbourne. Because catching the later train is comparable to having your homeland ripped away from you by the Commonwealth Government. In the media's defence, how can we possibly not marginalise the minority group even further when our own Prime Minister can't enjoy the liberal idea of enjoying one's own lifestyle choice?
It's not the job of the taxpayer to subsidise lifestyle choices.
Because having a spiritual and physical connection formed over tens of thousands of years isn't important enough. Here at The Beef, we like to end things on a positive note and give a nod in the right direction to those unsung heroes making the world a better place. This week, it's Chairman of Prime Minister Tony Abbott's Business Advisory Council and well-known global warming denier, Maurice Newman. In an article he wrote for The Australian on Friday, Newman revealed his conspiracy theory that scientific modelling showing the link between humans and climate change is wrong, and that global warming really is just a disguise to distract the world from the UN's agenda to take over the world. While well over 90% of the world's scientific community agrees that global warming is in fact a real thing, Newman didn't let a minor thing like scientific evidence get in the way of his argument. So if this is true and climate change is just a hoax led by the United Nations so that it can end democracy and impose authoritarian rule, wouldn't that mean those polar bears drowning at sea are co-conspirators? Those sick bastards. That's our show for this week. I'm Daniel Backhouse, and you've been watching The Beef.